Cardinals post-bye 0-2. Arizona Cardinals season hanging in the balance at 6-6. They welcome back the team that is as hot as anybody right now, the Seattle Seahawks, to State Farm Stadium. Cardinals, by the way, they've reestablished home field advantage to some extent. They've been playing much better, specifically offensively, at home. Craig, I'm going to start with you. What's the recipe for success, specifically for this team to get back on track and win what is now a must-win game against the Seahawks?
Well, clearly offensive execution has to be a little better. But I think this defense at this point is established who it is. And with Darius Robinson maybe getting even more reps, maybe it'll be a little more effective. You just need better execution. But I want to remind people, and I know you don't want to hear this because you've been waiting since the late 80s for, sustained success from this franchise.
Yeah.
But think where this franchise was last year. Think about, I'm not going to say the word, okay? Just think about progress, all right? They've already clearly made progress this season. First place is still on the line next week when the Seattle Seahawks come to town. So all that you want to accomplish this season is still in front of you in spite of these 2 weeks. You have a chance to win this division. You beat Seattle, you're in great position. Then you get the Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. You can still do everything that you want to do. So keep that in mind. All is not lost. They didn't lose the postseason possibility with this loss in Minnesota. Again, I thought there were some things that were okay or pretty good in this game. There's plenty still ahead for this franchise.
How big of a game is it for Kyler Murray next week, Britton Golden?
I think it's a big game for the whole team, offensively, defensively. Kyler Murray obviously has to go out there and take control and have a big game. Yes, you need to see it. But I agree with Craig. You're a game away next week from being first place back in the division. You win next week, you've got the first place nod back in the division. You're not out of this. The last 2 weeks have been bad losses, agreed. They killed themselves, though. Right? When the Cardinals beat the Cardinals, it's not a recipe for success. So at this point, it's consistency offensively and executing the plays that are called and going out there and just playing the game you're supposed to play and knowing that you still have an opportunity to make the playoffs, knowing that you have an opportunity to win this division. It's all out there in front of you. You just got to make the plays when the plays are there.
But what do the Cardinals have to do offensively against the Seahawks defense that's white hot right now to get the job done, in your opinion?
They have to execute where it means the most in the red zone. They have to continue. They have to turn these field goals into touchdowns. They can't leave any points left on the field, and that's the biggest key for this team going forward is your margin for error is gone. You can't have any no-shows on either side of the football or any phase of football going forward. I know you've got some winnable games as far as at home against the Seahawks, but we know the Seahawks aren't just to show up and win that game. They won handily last week, and they have a potential to beat you at home next week. And then the games after that, they should be winnable games as far as the Patriots and the Panthers, but your margin for error is now gone. So if you want to go to where you want to go, if you want to be taken seriously as a playoff contender, you have to take care of business starting next week and the weeks after that. Now, you had a chance to kind of give yourself some breathing room that doesn't exist any longer. So they have to, whatever things they need to fix offensively, get your quarterback, your number one receiver on the same page, execute in the red zone. It has to start beginning next week. You can't have any more blips any longer on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, I agree, and it's a legacy game for Kyler Murray because you win it, you're alive, you're in first place. If you lose it, the season's not over, but, you fumbled away a golden opportunity to win your first NFC West title as a 6-year pro. Kyler Murray, this is when this franchise needs you the most. You have your defense, you have your running game, you have your head coach, you got some skilled players that we're still high on regardless of how this season's gone. Go out and take that game. Don't let Geno Smith come into your building and put another loss on you. Don't lose your 8th straight game or whatever it is to the Seahawks that I think we all know are a little bit fraudulent. They beat the Jets today because the Jets jetted all over themselves. Leonard Williams, pick 6, he's been fantastic, but the Seahawks scored 2 touchdowns today. Again, Geno Smith, he was solid, right? Kyler Murray was drafted first overall to be exceptional, to take over games like this, to help win you division titles and have deep playoff bursts. And I disagree, Craig, to some extent with what you said about being ahead of schedule. Cliff Kingsbury was once thought of as being ahead of schedule. He was 6-3 once upon a time in his second year and botched a end of the season playoff run and finished 8-8 and missed the postseason. Nobody will remember the trajectory you were on. People will remember the fact that you were 6-4 in control of your own destiny, and wet the bed when the season mattered, like what it always does for this Cardinal team, and they blow it in the months of December and January. Now, you have an opportunity to rewrite that. You got 5 games left. You can go on a run here, win the division. Nobody cares about the result today. It's an afterthought. But if you lose next week, the chatter only gets louder, and people will start to have concerns, certainly about the play caller and who's snapping the ball behind center.